as we turn now to the growing fossil fuel divestment movement.
Fossil fuel divestment is a movement that has been sweeping across the globe. It calls upon institutions to uninvest from the fossil fuel industry for environmental, social, and economic reasons.
The end goal of fossil fuel divestment is to break the hold that the fossil fuel industry has on our economy and our governments.
But how?
So do you know what fossil fuel divestment is?
Fossil fuel divestment?
Yeah.
No, fossil fuel, but I don't know divestment.
I don't know a lot about it, but it's definitely something that needs to be, the future cannot stay with fossil fuel.
Fossil fuel divestment works by undermining the legitimacy of the industry as a whole. As it stands now, modern Canadian society is centered around the fossil fuel industry. Oil and gas resources are extracted from the earth, whether it be under the ground, trapped in rocks, or beneath the ocean floor. For example, in the Alberta oil sands, a clay-like material is extracted. A thick product named bitumen is synthesized from it and then exported to other countries to be refined and then bought back for consumption. None of this comes without cost to our planet, to the well-being of peoples, and to our economy. Firstly, the fossil fuel industry degrades the planet through its impacts on the immediate environment and in the long term by perpetuating climate change. Secondly, the fossil fuel industry violates human rights and contributes to decreased living standards of many peoples, particularly those who are racialized, of lower socioeconomic status, Indigenous peoples, and those in the global south. These are the people who disproportionately experience the effects of climate change, and those who are often immediately impacted by the development of this industry through pollution and other factors. Thirdly, economically, fossil fuels are not a guaranteed investment. Although there has been long-term growth in the field, there is no promise that it can continue to sustain itself, and what is left will become increasingly expensive to extract. Large majorities of the Canadian fossil fuel industry receive subsidiaries, the money of which is provided by Canadian taxpayer dollars. As well as this, large amounts of the fossil fuel industry is owned by foreign investors. It doesn't make sense to plan our futures around something that simply will not last.
Okay, so what is fossil fuel divestment?
Fossil fuel divestment essentially works on the premise of if it's wrong to wreck the climate, then it's wrong to profit from that wreckage. Universities have funds invested in portfolios called endowment funds, and these funds are used to essentially create money to provide services for students around campus. Essentially, divestment means getting rid of these unethical stocks or bonds. So in our case, it means withdrawing these funds from the fossil fuel industry.
Similar to the divestment movement of other industries, fossil fuel divestment campaigns have sprung up in religious, post-secondary, and public institutions. Examples of Canadian universities that have active fossil fuel divestment campaigns include Dalhousie, University of Victoria, McGill, University of British Columbia, Concordia, Guelph, Trent, University of Toronto, McMaster, York University, University of Ottawa, and most recently, Ryerson University.
Divest Ryerson started as a campaign out of the Sustainability Committee of the Ryerson Students' Union. So through volunteers we had then, we started to build momentum and start talking to students on campus. We have a dedicated group of volunteers who have been doing outreach, talking to students on campus, and collecting petition signatures. We hope to hold a few more events by the end of this year and then continue with our work next year. We hope to bring faculty and staff into the equation and also get endorsements from student groups and external organizations. The Ryerson Divestment campaign asks three things. First, it asks that Ryerson freezes all investments in the fossil fuel industry. So that means no more investments. Second, it asks that Ryerson withdraws these investments over 5 years' time. So it's nothing financially risky whatsoever. And lastly, it asks that Ryerson establishes a responsible investment committee so that socially responsible investments can be prioritized in the future, so that anytime Ryerson is considering making more investments, that these investments will consider environmental or social issues. Ryerson University has considerable investments in many of the top fossil fuel corporations around the world,
Ryerson's endowment fund is approximately $100 million, and around 2/3 of that is managed in a third-party investment firm, Fiera Capital. Through Fiera, Ryerson invests in several fossil fuel companies. The largest of these is Enbridge, which received $300,000, and contradictions with Ryerson's attempts to be sustainable and ethical.
These corporations, we know that they're doing destructive things. We know they're contributing to the global climate crisis. So by pressuring institutions such as universities and colleges to divest from the fossil fuel industry, we're able to send a clear message that these industries no longer have the social license they require to operate. One of the biggest struggles in this campaign is having students understand why this is important. It's not just about saving the planet, it's about students' futures, it's about creating a future where we have this clean energy technologies, and we're just not supporting unethical energy resources.
One reason divestment is stimulating students is that it provides a practical way to participate in collective action that could help to reduce the political power of the fossil fuels industries.
It's about becoming an active part of the decision-making process. It's the fight for transparency, accountability, for science, and for our values. We have the right to dissent, the right to be our own advocates. We are students, we are leaders, we are community members. We are the Fossil Fuel Divestment Campaign. You can find Divest Ryerson on Facebook, Twitter, and Instagram at Divest Ryerson, or contact them through email at divestryerson@gmail.com. To find further information on the fossil fuel divestment movement and its campaigns, as well as climate action, visit 350.org and gofossilfree.org.